News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adayitano program. Harley-Davidson of Guam. Visit our new showroom now located on Route 8 in Mighty. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on primetime, Tinian and Saipan slowly recovering from the devastation of Super Typhoon U2. Plus, what Guam is doing to help our brothers and sisters in the CNMI. And the latest with the Simon Sanchez High School protests as DPW and Cortec have reached a settlement. Hafaday and good evening.
More than 100 people injured following Super Typhoon U2. Recovery efforts are ongoing to get those in Saipan and Tinian back to a sense of normalcy.
Officials say it will no doubt take some time before that happens. Here's more. Images showing the aftermath of Super Typhoon U2 have been circulating all over social media since the storm pushed away from the Marianas.
We're moving from response to recovery.
The recovery effort tremendous as both Tinian and Saipan suffered severe damage from the storm. President Donald Trump declared a major disaster for the CNMI.
That enables people to apply either by going online at disasterassistance.gov or by calling 1-800-621-3362 or by visiting a disaster recovery center, which will be opening shortly on each of the impacted islands, the three main islands of CNMI, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan.
David Gervino is a FEMA spokesperson on the ground in Saipan.
The storm that's devastating is going to take a while to recover from.
As reported, the monster storm claimed one life. A 44-year-old woman had been seeking shelter in Saipan when the building collapsed. Officials confirming today that 133 people suffered storm-related injuries, including lacerations, open wounds, and a few even needing surgery. Elsewhere, power at Saipan's only hospital is now fully operational, and electricity for some living near the hospital should be back up as well. Nadine De Leon Guerrero is with the CNMI Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Thank you to the people of Guam for allowing us to borrow some of your linemen. So we now have Guam Power Authority as well as Colorado Primary Source that have loaned us some of their manpower to assist us with restoring power back to the islands of Saipan and Tinian. On the island of Tinian, we have 2 generators that are now on the island of Tinian, and we are working really hard to restore power to the hospital.
Operations at Saipan's airport is also said to be progressing.
We do have flights that are open that are transporting those that are trying to leave the island. So any tourists that are trying to leave Saipan and Tinian, those flights are being opened, as well as those that are returning.
Additionally, 140 Guam Guardsmen have been deployed north to assist with recovery efforts to clear debris and help to get critical services back online. And assistance is pouring in from all over to help those affected by Super Typhoon U2. More than $28,000 collected during Friday's boot drive and much more supplies made their way up north over the weekend. The giving has only just begun.
Our goal is to try to fill them up as quick as possible and get it up to them as quick as we can.
Tons of donations started coming in early Monday. Azuda Foundation board member and former Senator Frank Blas Jr.
It's a great collaboration with Juan Marianas. The Azuda Foundation, as has been with many previous disasters, stepping up and coordinating, conducting a relief drive for Saipan, Tinian, and Rota.
Set up behind the former Foremost warehouse in Upper Tumon today, it's an effort to pack these 40-foot containers to send north.
Of course, water, your non-perishable foods, your basic life necessities for these individuals. Many of our brothers and sisters up there still have got no water, no power, no means to be able to care for themselves. And so we like to get these up as quick as possible.
Other private and government agencies have been doing the same. The Coast Guard even posting these images of their service members providing relief and delivering meals ready to eat and bottled water to the CNMI.
It could happen to us. I mean, if that storm had just turned just slightly south, we could have been one of those places that will be in desperate need of supplies as well.
Local and federal public safety officials spent their Friday afternoon at major intersections hosting a boot drive. Officials there raising more than $28 grand to send up north. GovGuam also stepping in. Guam Homeland Security now accepting in-kind donations, including canned goods, rice, flashlights, lanterns, batteries, tarp, and duct tape. The Red Cross is also making their rounds, and Blas says the giving doesn't stop here.
We're going to step up and we're going to help our brothers and sisters as best we can.
For more on how you can get involved, go to KUAM.com.
A controversial settlement between DPW and Cortec means the bid to build Simon Sanchez can move forward. But at what cost? As Chris Barnett reports, the settlement appears to favor Cortec. Here's more.
As part of a settlement between the Department of Public Works and Cortec, Cortec has dropped its appeal of the Simon Sanchez High School bid awarding. In turn, DPW has canceled the invitation for bid for Sanchez, and the Guam Department of Education is now free to solicit bids for the renovation and rebuilding of Simon Sanchez. That's according to DPW Acting Director Andy Leon Guerrero. But the settlement reached between DPW and Cortec appears to heavily favor Cortec. You be the judge. In order to get Cortec to drop its appeal of the awarding of the Sanchez bid, DPW let Cortec off the hook on $3 million of liquidated damages it owes the government of Guam. Because of major project delays on a Route 1, Route 8 construction project, Cortec was cited for $3 million in damages. DPW had also terminated Cortec from the project, citing major delays.
Cortec is a multi-million-dollar company to finish 10% of the job. It baffles me.
It's not clear why the settlement combined the Route 1, Route 8 project and the Simon Sanchez procurement, with Leon Guerrero agreeing the two were separate issues.
They were apple and oranges. One shouldn't have hinged on the other, but they did.
While the Route 1, Route 8 project remains uncompleted, sidewalks not ADA compliant, Cortec was still paid $2.4 million for the work it did do, and now DPW must find another company to finish what Cortec started.
You're asking me if DPW lost? No, we didn't. I think we won. I think the government won.
Also part of the settlement, DPW must strike from its record all prior notice of default, complaints, objections, or concerns issued by DPW relating to Cortec's work on the Route 1, Route 8 project.
There will be nothing on the official record, yeah. Nothing at all.
Leon Guerrero, meanwhile, said the settlement was brokered to reach a resolution on Simon Sanchez, but he did admit Cortec's deep pockets made it hard for DPW to have equal footing.
Their lawyers are like Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and our lawyers are like, you know, who would it be? Chris Melafunction and Andy Leon Guerrero, right? And I'm not taking anything away from the AG, I'm not, you know. Their resources are huge.
KUAM News asked Leon Guerrero if he thinks Cortec got off easy.
If anybody wants to criticize me for the fact that Cortec maybe got away with something, for the fact that maybe the government of Guam maybe lost a little bit on liquidated damages, I'll take full responsibility for that, you know. But that's part of negotiating.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
The Guam Election Commission is meeting tonight to address written election concerns. Director Marie Pangilinan says the GEC will review the letters sent by political action committees, including one by Andre Bainum, who claims Kin Perez, a board member, is biased against the write-in campaign. Pangilinan says they are working to address all complaints in a timely manner, but will also be discussing their budget.
We do what we can to address them as quickly as we can. We know that most letters need to be dealt with by the commission. We're going to need more money if we have a runoff, and we'll need more money before the fiscal year ends, because we're using a lot of money for most of our expenses are at the beginning of the fiscal year.
The GEC now addressing these issues just 7 days away from Election Day.
Coming up on D18 tonight, candidates for the CCU, Francis Santos and William Parkinson. It's your chance to interact with the candidates on our Facebook live stream. Be sure to get those questions in and stay logged on to KUM's Facebook for the after party with analysts Vanessa Jadikpa, Ron McNinch, and Carlo Branch. D18 tonight is coming up right after prime time.
UOG's The 2018 Great Debate is tomorrow night at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. KUAM is the exclusive broadcast and live stream partner for the event. You can watch it live on KUAM TV 11 and in our FB page on Tuesday, October 30th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. with our pre-show.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime.
You're watching KUAM.
We value relationships because when we commit, I love you guys until you're 80, until you're 90, until you're 100, forever.
We are in it for the long run, so you can enjoy the moments that matter. Because when we commit to relationships, we never stop caring. Calvo's Select Care, health care that is always there for you.
This bill is very anti-quality of life because it does not consider the expense that the family will incur as a result of mandating treatment that most likely will not result in a quality of life outcome for the infant.
Lou Leon Guerrero testified that the quality of life of a child that survives an abortion is not worth the medical treatment.
What this bill does is it will burden the family with enormous medical bills.
How does she see people? How does she see that society would be burdened? When is life itself considered a burden? I have a right to vote because I was allowed to live. We should not vote for a candidate that supports the destruction of human life. Vote for life. Vote for Tenorio Ada.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message.
I'm Hope Benavente de los Reyes, and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Ray Younger. I'm voting for Joe.
My name is Michael Gofigan-Tapasnia, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Kathy Leon Guerrero, and I'm voting for Joe.
I am Rose Tapasnia Mesa, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Joanne Kennedy, and I'm voting for Joe.
I am Ernie Caceres. I am voting for Joe.
I'm Benjamin D. Mesa Jr. I'll be voting for Joe.
I am Anne Leon Guerrero. I am voting for Joe.
I'm Pete Johnson, and I'm voting for Joe.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids, just trying to make things work. With the rising cost of living on Guam, it gets harder for working families like mine to get by. I've heard some politicians say that the economy is good, but rent is higher, health insurance is too expensive, and our incomes have stayed the same. It's clear that the change they're talking about hasn't been for us, and we deserve better. I'm just so tired of all the empty promises. It's time to fight for a Guam that working families can afford. That's why I'm voting for Lou Leon Guerrero. Lou is a successful businesswoman who doesn't just talk about creating jobs. She doesn't just talk about housing. She's made it possible for people just like me to buy their first home. So when she says she's going to work to make Guam better, I believe her and I trust her. I'm voting for Lou, and I ask all of you who are tired of the way things have been to vote for her too.
I'm Lou Leon Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Guam is a modern, fast-paced society that needs reliable energy, and we need that energy as affordable as possible. You need someone that understands the difficulty and the challenges, but you need someone that knows how to implement change. We're now moving into a new paradigm for Guam. We're moving into solar energy. We've made a lot of progress. Let's continue that progress. I ask for your vote. I'm Simon Sanchez, and I approve this message.
Mike St. Nicholas doesn't believe we are confident enough to govern ourselves.
We don't want people who are not confident in their own self-governance to be voting on self-government.
Yet, we pursued more self-government because we are confident we can govern ourselves. The only person who does not trust the people of Guam is Mike St. Nicholas. If he doesn't trust us, we can't trust him. Let's vote for Doris Flores Brooks, a trusted, experienced representative who believes and trusts the people of Guam.
I'm Doris Flores Brooks, and I approve this message.
These are our islands, and this is our Laddystone. This is what we stand for and who we are. For more than 35 years, we delivered connections that matter throughout the Marianas. First, via radio link, then by fiber optic cable. We launched the region's first 4G LTE network and continue to make our network faster and stronger. Telecommunications change the way our islands interact with the world, but not the heart behind those interactions. IT&E. Explore your world.
My name is Levan Taitano Camacho, and I'm running for Attorney General. I grew up in a normal family. My dad is retired Army. My mom put herself through college and is now an educator. And I went to law school because I wanted to help people. That's what I've been doing for the last 13 years. I've seen firsthand how important the Office of the Attorney General is to our island, from prosecuting criminals to ensuring that child support is being paid, to guiding the government of Guam agencies and directors. As Attorney General, I want to make sure that we build safer communities for our families. I want to make sure that child support gets to the families that count on that money, and I want to make sure that the government of Guam stays on the right side of the law. I am excited about an opportunity to serve the people of Guam, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 6th. Thank you. I'm Levan Taitano Camacho, and I approve this message.
Hoffman, welcome back. She was recently arrested for stealing thousands of dollars from St. Anthony Catholic School. Apparently, it wasn't her first gig handling cash for kids. Tiffany Napati-Sablan currently has a case before the Civil Service Commission. That's where she's fighting her termination from the Department of Education. According to her notice of final adverse action, she was fired last year after it was discovered she was responsible for over $8,000 in missing funds at Agada Johnston Middle School. The numbers didn't add up. The Archdiocese of Agana earlier this year audited St. Anthony Catholic School because they weren't submitting their financial reports on time. That's when they discovered close to $18,000 was missing, resulting in the felony theft charge against the school's former finance officer, Tiffany Napati-Sablan. It appears Sablan had a similar incident at Agada Johnston Middle School last year. That's where she worked as an administrative assistant and school treasurer. Guam Department of Education Internal Audit Office launched an investigation after the bank reported checks from the school had been returned due to insufficient funds. Their investigation concluded Sablan not only misappropriated funds, but also committed forgery. Though she was never charged in this case, she was terminated in July 2017. Her notice of final adverse action also reporting officials discovered she had forged signatures on 3 checks totaling close to $2,000. Supporting documents from DOE show they had discovered a notebook, which Sablan claimed was hers, with practice signatures on the pages. She's fighting her termination from DOE on grounds of procedural defect. She's set to appear before Civil Service Commissioners on November 20th. As for her felony theft charge, she's been released from jail on a $10,000 performance bond. Her next hearing in that case is set for November 14th.
An ancient Chamorro village at the site of the new Marine base in Dededo was bulldozed by the military, and a member of the Historic Preservation Board is raising concerns that the Navy was not completely forthcoming about calls to preserve it. Nestor Lecanto reports.
Preservation Board member Dave Lott says it was only recently that they learned of the Navy's intent to clear the site of the ancient village known as Magua.
Plans had been finished and contracts had been awarded for the clearing. We approached the Navy to see if we could reach a resolution to preserve that site. And we thought that they had decided not to clear that pending a resolution. We had not heard from the Navy in a few months.
So Lott said he decided to visit the site unannounced Sunday and was upset to find what he says was a massive clearing.
We feel that this understanding we had as a Guam Preservation Trust has not been honored, and we're rather disturbed about it.
Lott says the ancient laddie stones from the village were preserved, and the Navy has offered to place them at a site off base for the public to view, but he says a replica site is clearly not the same thing. He also suggests the Navy was not forthcoming about its plans and used federal archaeological resources protection laws to hide this essential information.
It's designed to prevent looting. It's understandable, but when you have people on the island, such as myself, peers as professionals and people interested in preserving and access to Chamorro culture, when that information is not made available, it's doing a serious disservice to the people of the island who the Navy has said they want to work with.
The Preservation Board meets on Wednesday to discuss the issue further. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
2 years from now, the Spanish will celebrate the 500th anniversary of Magellan's circumnavigation of the globe, including his historic stop in Guam. But a bill to establish a local commission to promote Guam's representation in the event drew strong criticism from a number of longtime Chamorro rights activists who object to the celebration of Guam's Spanish colonial past. Bill author Senator Therese Terlai says there was never an intent to celebrate.
What we are trying to do is only what is within our power to do, and that's to establish a commission on Guam that is going to be able to say for Guam exactly what you have said. And if you have any suggestions of how we can do that better, I'm open to that.
Historian and former University of Guam President Dr. Robert Underwood supports the bill's intent, saying it's an opportunity to educate the people of Guam about the Spanish era.
Of course the passion is strong. Of course the emotion is strong. Of course it's a very powerful and dispiriting story. But Magellan's visit itself affords the opportunity to reflect on that and to have the opportunity to formulate a response which gives the island dignity.
The board would consist of 12 members that include reps from the Department of Chamorro Affairs, the Guam Museum, GVB, and the Guam Preservation Trust.
Well, sports is next. Keep it here.
I didn't plan to be a single mom. No one does. But here I am, mid-30s, divorced with 3 kids.